Today's adventure brings us to the famous Blount Springs, Alabama. This is a 1905 historic topo map. There are a number of videos already posted about this place, but this one is going to be about bottle digging. If there's any bottles left to be found there. I mean, when I think about it, this might be the most prime spot in the entire state of Alabama for a bottle digger. So it's probably very heavily dug out. We probably won't even find anything, but it's definitely worth a try. So let's get to it.
Got about 28 of the cobalt Blount Springs bottles.
So you're saying you know a guy with 28 of these cobalt bottles from Blount Springs?
Yes.
That sounds too good to be true. So, did you ask him if he would be willing to sell any of them?
No, I didn't. I didn't ask about purchasing any of them.
What do you think do you think he would possibly sell a couple?
Possibly.
Wait a minute, there's an antique store over there.
There is, isn't there? Do you want to go to it?
Yeah. So this guy found 28 cobalt sodas in this one particular dump that you're going to show me, or?
I'm under the impression that, yeah, he had dug them all.
Well then, how come you didn't find any when you went there?
Because I'm not a serious digger, and when I went with him, he done the majority of the digging. It was basically my first trip.
So he must have dug there like 50 times then.
He never really indicated how many times he had dug there, but I was under the impression from what I seen that he probably dug quite a bit, because he did have a pretty good collection.
In 1,000 feet, turn left onto Swan Bridge Road.
It is a prime age for bottle digging. I mean, 1843 to 1914, it doesn't get any better than that. I'm coming to Blount Springs for the first time and hope to find something. I know a lot of these cobalt bottles were found here, but is there anything left now? Because 5 years has passed since the last time he went digging there, and the dump might be all wiped out by now. Here's the hotel site, and yeah, I didn't think it would go up a 45-degree angle embankment, but apparently it does. Here's one of the only structures still standing. And I bet I'll be the 100th person to kneel down and look under here for bottles. And of course I won't find anything because whoever did it first found them. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if this isn't built slightly after the fire of 1914. And as you can see, there's a bunch of tulips here that lasted for over 100 years. But I think we have a privy located over here. Surprisingly, it seems like a 1940s privy, which doesn't make sense. But as I always say, 1940s privies follow me. I mean, I always find 1940s privies, even in the ghost town of 1914. I don't understand it. But there's a lot of stuff coming out of here. See, that's classic 40s. I just don't understand it. I thought for sure everything we find it was going to be pre-1915. But nope. It's all new stuff. But hopefully it'll get older. Sometimes they put a trash pit on top of a 30-year-old privy that's sunk down. Yeah, I don't think it's been dug.
You do?
No, I don't think it has been dug. This is a shard that I don't recognize, and I've dug 100,000 bottles, so that's kind of surprising. Oh, a mayonnaise jar from the 40s. Always gotta find a mayonnaise jar in every 1940s hole you dig.
Henry K. Wample and Company.
Okay, we're starting to get into the 30s now. So maybe I was right. Maybe by the time it gets 5.5 feet deep, it'll be into the 1915 layer. We can only hope. Well, this kind of proves that all the privies haven't been dug, because this is one of the most obvious places to dig. Although most diggers wouldn't waste their time digging a 1940s privy, but it looks like it hasn't been even experimented with. I mean, they haven't sampled it. I mean, it looked like it was nice and level. Another Henry Wampole? I think so. Here's either a well or a cistern. Cisterns usually flare out like an underground igloo, but I don't know. I was told this is a cistern, but I don't know for sure. But I tried to probe it and I just keep hitting rocks everywhere, so the only thing to do would be to invest a couple hours in throwing all these rocks out of here, then trying to probe it again. I don't know if I want to do that yet. I'm sure this has been creek walked plenty of times. It's such a small creek. Very few pieces of glass in it. There's a walkway here. It looks like it must be almost 100 years old. Well, I guess we can't get to it because it broke in half. So this place is associated with that famous site, huh? Even though it's about a mile away? In the last 5 years they built a modern house here that somebody lives in. And they put a fence. And we can't access it anymore. So half the town is off limits all of a sudden. Okay, that is the front of the hotel. And this is the back wall. But what is this giant hole right here? It makes me wonder. It has a bunch of bricks around it. I don't know if it's a well. It seems like it's right connected to the back. But I'll probe it out and see. It's kind of unusual. It's kind of like a brick wall, but just randomly thrown together bricks. I don't understand it. Well, it looks like somebody has just recently been digging here. I mean, it looks like less than a month ago. And this place has been hunted for probably 55 years. And how do we happen to be here just a few weeks after somebody dug a big hole? Okay. This looks like a privy that has been dug already. Probably 75 to 100 bottles came out of it, and that's why it sinks so much. I would say this spot has been dug and redug because this is the target. I mean, this is the most likely spot for people to have treasure hunted because it was the hotel. So house sites would be much less likely to have been dug if they were, say, 100 yards down that way. So that's probably the only hope we have of finding anything, is to dig the house sites.
What about over in there? You think we'd have any luck in there?
That would be the most obvious place to look, so I think we would have to go at least a couple 100 feet down that way.
Look, that's a good one out there.
Yeah, well, it looks like a cistern, sort of, but at that shallow level it should only be about 2 feet wide. Okay, this spot looks like it's been carved out and it's about the size of an outhouse, so there might be a privy here. Of course, it's so rocky. You got the probe every couple inches to hope to get the probe in somewhere. It doesn't feel good at all. Well, there's a well-built wall way up in the top of this hill, but you gotta be a mountain goat to get to it because it's more than a 45-degree angle slope. So I hope I can get up here. It's kind of flat over here, so I wonder if they had some kind of events up here. It's a nice view. Oh, wait a minute, this is where the second hotel building was, wasn't it? Okay. The second largest structure in this town site was up here. And there's some more walls from maybe 150 years ago. And this place started around 1838 and changed hands multiple times and got bigger and more popular each time. Well, this is some kind of a walkway behind the building, and as you can see, it ends right here. And there's a wall built here. The ground is slightly lower right here, so that means it's possibly a privy. So let me get to probing. Okay, it is a privy, but it's probably dug already because it goes down a few inches there and then raises up a few inches over here. Makes me kind of wonder. And if I'm not mistaken, that's a straight-sided coke, or at least what's left of one. Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder what town it's from. It doesn't look like a Birmingham, but the town of Coleman is about 20 miles from here, so it's probably from that town. So I'm going to keep probing it out and see if I can determine whether it's been dug or not. Okay, what is this? Why is there this place like this? Could it be an outhouse site? I don't know. I never saw one like it, but of course I have to probe it and see. No, it's definitely not an outhouse site, but I don't know what it is. Interesting. Okay, we got this spot up here that's kind of interesting. We have to investigate it for the potential of a triple wide privy. Could have been a 3 or 4 seat house, and it kind of sinks down, so it definitely looks like it is a privy. But it's such a rocky place that obviously they threw rocks down the privy when they were ready to fill it in, so it makes it extremely hard to figure it out. You gotta keep probing every couple inches until you get the probe in. Well, here's one of the many spots that seems like a possible privy. It's kind of got a flat spot and kind of have a little bit of a rock wall in the back. So I think I'm gonna dig a test pit into this one. Well, I'm at least 100 yards from the hotel sites. And I found this spot right here. It definitely feels soft. It doesn't have any bottles in it. Maybe they just didn't throw bottles in the privies here because there was a big dump and it's a rocky area, so it's a lot of work to dig a hole in clay full of rocks. But I think I'm going to dig a spot right here and see if I can find anything. Well, I gave it my best, but I just don't feel any glass down there. It definitely is a privy. It's definitely an out of the way place, but I guess I'm going to give up on this one. I think I'm ready to give up on this town entirely. Well, it turned out to be just another sightseeing video with no bottles being found. Typical for Alabama these days. I don't know what's going on, but I can't seem to find anything here in Alabama anymore. Well, there's the main center of town. That's where the hotel was. And then over here, a modern structure that caught fire. Okay, there's some stuff down this road, and I think a lot less people have gone down this way, so I guess we'll try this way. Yeah, you found a cistern and it had bottles in it even after 1,000 people have been here looking for bottles?
Pretty much.
Well, that proves my theory that not very many people have gone down this road. Only the hardcore people that live close by, that have been to this place 50 to 100 times probably, have gone all the way down to this. Well, this goes about half a mile with houses. Okay, we're going up this way, checking out a couple of home sites. There was a home over here. There's an old piece of metal. Looks like somebody recently dug it out. Maybe metal detecting. But this is a really interesting place. This is very interesting, very well preserved compared to all the rest of the places around here. Oh, well, I wouldn't call that a cistern. I would call it a well. He says he found some antique bottles in here. Well, I guess it's possible. Cisterns are actually connected to a house, so. But this looks like it's fairly modern, these stairs. I mean, maybe 50 years old, but I guess people were living here fairly recently. I wonder what this would be for. Oh wow, it goes up in there. It's a coal chute maybe? No, it doesn't actually go all the way up. I don't know what this is for. Interesting area. Those stairs right there look fairly modern, don't they? And those bricks look like they're only half as old as the town itself. Okay, now this is a cistern. See how it has an angle or has an arch going into it? Oh my god, that is so deep, it's terrifying. Oh my god, that's like 20 feet deep.
Be careful over there.
I've never seen a cistern that big before. Yeah, they're usually only about 10 feet deep. So why is this one so big? I don't know. They could have used this as the town dump and put about 100,000 bottles in it. But they chose not to for some reason. But many places that have cisterns used them as trash dumps in the 20s and 30s. So I'm kind of confused about why they have such a giant cistern and a well just for one house. I don't quite get it. This place is very interesting though. What is this? Is this a privy? Well, this place is rather elaborate and large. Unlike an ordinary house, this is something that should be mentioned in the history because it's obviously the third most important structure around here. But I have not heard anything about it. Not that I spent all that long researching this place, but I definitely did research it for half an hour about watching 3 videos on the subject of this place. Yeah, this seems like a 1 acre piece of land for this one house. There's a semi-modern cement structure right there. I don't know what that would be. Okay, now it makes sense. This was supposedly a church. That makes sense about why it's so elaborate and has all this flat land. 25 cars could have parked in here. So yeah. But why do they need a giant cistern for a church? Oh, I know. To give baptisms. I guess. You gotta have water for that. Yeah, I don't know if anybody ever brought any bottles to church with them because, I mean, who does that? Do you ever see anybody at church nowadays with bottles with them? Of course not. So I think the privies over here would have no bottles in them. Interesting fence work right here. Can you even see it? Did somebody purposely put up a roadblock here? It kind of looks like it. Maybe they don't want anybody to go on this former church property. Here is yet another home site, half a mile down this road. Well, I have a theory that there's another dump down this way. Because there's another dump on the other side of the town, about half a mile down, so it's divided by a street, so there could be another dump another half a mile this way. Was this 2 houses? It sort of looks like it. Well, another cistern has been located. I can't even see the bottom of it. Hey! It's an echo. It must be 25 feet deep. Yeah, I would hate to fall down there and get lost. What's this sign way out in the middle of nowhere for? No trespassing. That usually implies don't go on the other side of the sign. I mean, you can't be trespassing already to read the sign, can you? I don't know why the sign would be 150 feet from the road, but I don't know. I guess we better leave here.